Wednesday at noon, which means it is the working hour. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week to the start of October. Cannot believe that we are in October already, and that time has really gone by fast this year. I actually just got up. I saw myself in the camera, and the first thought I was like, wow, I've got a Kevin Smith outfit on today. So I'm wearing a t shirt, a jacket, and shorts underneath. So I walked over and I'm like, wow, that's a bit of a Kevin Smith look today. But I digress. Just want to warm up a little bit here. Um, One of the things that we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to make this short and sweet, but it's really something very important, and it is this. It's why you just can't roll on up to your interview and think you're going to nail it. Um, I can't tell you how many times in my professional career I had people come to interviews and they just were not prepared. Now, last month I talked a lot about resumes and where resumes end up and all that stuff. But after you submit your resume and after you network and you have your strategy and you have all that stuff, you come to the interview. And a lot of times people, this is where they trip up and they fail. And one of the things I tell my clients all the time is this: if you get an interview, congratulations, you've got the job. It's now yours to lose. And the truth of the matter is this, I know this from working as an HR professional for many years. You're probably one of 3 or 4 people that are getting an interview to start. Now they may go back and they may interview other people if they don't find the right person. But if you're part of that initial group, the truth is you're one of 2 or 3 people, or 3 or 4 people. And it becomes important for you to nail that interview. I can't tell you how many times people have come up and they've gone to the interview and they just weren't prepared. They were either not dressed appropriately for the interview. They did not prepare for questions that they might get asked. They didn't know their resume and what was on the resume. So when they were asked about details about it, they didn't know what the hell was going on. They kind of looked like, a blank stare. And honestly, you can't do that. If you expect for somebody to take a chance on you and take a chance on hiring you, you're going to have to make sure that they feel comfortable. And the best way you can make them feel comfortable is to make sure that you are prepared to answer their questions in a way that they can understand you clearly. And the best way to do that is through story and through a structure where people can actually go and understand what you actually did, kind of what the situation was, what you did and how you did it, and then what that end result was. And if you're not doing this in your interviews and you're wondering why you're not getting offers, that's probably why. Now, this month in October, I've started a series, and it's actually going to go all the way to the end of the year. I'm actually going to go through like 90 or 100 different questions that typically are asked during interviews and how you should kind of approach them. Now, some of the questions are going to be questions that are going to trip you up, and they're designed to trip you up. Some of them are going to be, why are they asking me this question? And some of the questions you're like, I don't want to answer these questions. But if you know the psychology behind it, then you can answer and you can figure out what to answer and how to answer it the best way possible, where it doesn't hurt you and doesn't shoot you in the foot. Now, the first question I actually answered in this series back on Monday was actually a question that was posed to somebody that was looking for interview help on LinkedIn. Now, I'm not working with this person or anything, but they actually posed the question where they said, I have difficulty answering the question, tell me a time when you failed about something. Now, I will tell you personally, I have been asked this question personally early on in my career. And I was probably young and dumb enough to, well, I was a little shocked, but I knew enough that I could pause, think about it, reflect, and then answer, which is always a good thing to do, not just to spit it out. But the other thing is this, uh, you know, later on, the person told me why they asked that question. The reason they asked the question was they wanted to see if I ever had anything that was difficult and I had to overcome, and how I approached it and how I was able to do that. So if you look at the psychology behind that question, tell me a time when you failed at something, it's not to go and catch you. It's more to give you the opportunity to say, yes, you know what? Everyone has times where they're not at their best, or they do things that just don't go the way they anticipated it going, and it goes sideways. But there's some value. In fact, there's a lot of value in being able to look at what happened, dissect what that is, and then be able to say, this is what I've learned, and this is how I've implemented my learnings so this won't happen again. And that's one of the great things about experience. Now, I will tell you what I used as an example was actually this question was asked to me when I was in my 20s. And again, as a young guy, I was like, what the heck is going on? Why are you asking me this question? But the truth is this, I actually was able to tap into something that happened to me when I was in high school, and something I had to overcome when I was younger. And it actually showed and it actually proved about my work ethic, because I was early on in my career at this point. It was able to demonstrate what my work ethic was, that I didn't give up in the face of adversity, and that at the end, I achieved my goal, my ultimate goal, when somebody told me I couldn't. Talk about a great story. Overcoming adversity, working hard, and then being able to be successful, even in the face of adversity. Now, the truth is, I was a little surprised by that question, but I had prepared for other questions that were similar. That question was really just in your face kind of question. Um, but the truth is, I prepared for other questions, like tell me about your weaknesses. Tell me about things when things didn't go the way you planned them to go. And because I prepared for those other questions, I actually nailed that interview. I got the job. I was successful in the job. And I was really, again, I was really, really excited. So next time you have an interview, or even if you're just in the stages of putting your resume out there, looking, networking with people, eventually you are going to get the interview. So start preparing now, so it doesn't become such an onerous task to do that. Oh, I've got an interview tomorrow. I have to prepare. Because that's not how you're going to learn the best. That's the way we learned really well when we were teenagers and we were in our 20s. But as we've gotten older, we need a little bit more time to prepare. And if you think you know it all and you've got this, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't interviewed in a while, things have changed. And even if they haven't changed that much, you have to understand that you have changed, and you have to understand that you may not be in the right mindset. You see that mindset stuff that I've been talking about for the last few months? These are all things to make sure that you are in the right mindset, that you can come up and you can feel confident. So just don't roll up to your next interview and think you're going to nail it. You need to put the work in. So this has been the working hour. Again, we do this at noon on Wednesdays. Look out for the next, I can't say a few weeks, look out from between now and the end of the year on every day that's not Wednesday for the one interview question that I'm going to review. And this way you can take some notes. Have a great day. Have a great Wednesday. And I will see you next Wednesday